What's going on, guys? My name's Tarun Shetty. Welcome to the Convo Sutra. Here with another fantastic episode. Very happy for this guest here today. Mike Estimate, welcome to the Convo Sutra.
Thank you.
Man.
Thanks for having me.
Mike's a comic here, a comic actor, and I see you every week at the Dime Bar where we do comedy. And you're so established and so legit. It's kind of groundbreaking here because we normally have South Asian guests. And so we were like, Mike Estimate is going to break new ground here in the Convo Sutra. So
I was wondering that. I was like looking at him like, okay.
She's like, is he Indian?
Trying to figure out
Is he Tamil?
what's the percentage here.
What is it? No percentage. I was married to an Asian woman, South Asian woman.
I count.
So she was from Gujarat.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm Gujarati. If you don't know.
Gujarati.
do you speak Gujarati?
No. I know. What is it? Hungry.
How to say hungry?
How to say hungry? What is it?
Buklagi.
Buklagi.
You know all the commands, take out the
I know
trash.
the command. Yeah, take out the trash.
Take out the trash.
Buklagi. Body. Nutty. Dude.
I'm horny.
Dude means milk.
Well, horny, no, that's a universal language. I didn't really need words for that.
That's fair.
Yeah, and then basically and then I had to learn the kakas and the kakis and the mamas and the mommies.
Can you tell them what that means?
What?
Okay.
Most people don't know.
So kaka is mama and mommy is the let me see, the mother's brother.
Yes. That's mama.
That's mama.
Yeah.
The mother's brothers.
Yeah.
So all the mother's brothers, like the uncles, they call them the mother first. Like the brothers, the first uncles, mamas and mommies.
I'm already lost.
Okay.
Let's skip
And
this.
the kakas and kakis are on the dad's side.
Okay.
To clarify, the
Dan's like, what are we?
Yeah.
to clarify, I think this is
I'm lost.
important
Like,
for
is
people.
this baby talk?
Well, this is important because I think it's the coolest part is that in our culture, you don't go, what side is this uncle on? If I tell you this is my mama, you know that's my mom's brother.
That's my mom's
it.
brother.
Yeah,
If I say
makes sense.
kaka, it's my dad's brother.
It's my dad's
There's no
brother.
Got
confusion.
it.
And once you get
Okay.
all that, then you're like, oh, okay, stupid. And of course, as you know, a lot of Indian, they have like 30,000 cousins and uncles. And so you're like, is that the mama or the mommy and the kaki? And you call the kaka the mama and the mama the kaki. I'm like, I don't know.
The mama's weird though, because people think it's mama,
Mama,
like a woman.
Like
Yeah.
my mama,
I'm like,
yeah.
no, that's
'cause
not what
I'm
I'm
black. So I'm like, oh, my mama. I'm like, why am I calling the man mama?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't feel comfortable doing that. What kind of stuff is this? And then she said the kaka, because I'm Haitian also, and kaka means shit.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, that's your kaka. And I'm like, yo, that's disrespectful. How you just going to say that to the man's face? And like, no, kaka and kaki.
Sure.
So once you get that situated, then you're straight.
Wow.
But yeah, but I just needed to know, like, when I'm hungry, when I want water.
You want water?
Yeah, water. Pani. I like, pani.
So you really are like a
when I did-
traditional
when I- yeah, exactly.
Indian husband. You're like,
I
bring
was
me
pretty
water,
much, I
make
was an
me
Indian
food.
husband in training.
Yeah.
You were Jamai.
What's the Jamai?
Jamai's daughter's husband.
I never knew that. See, this is why we're not together, because she never taught me that.
Yeah, so you're not together with her anymore.
Yes.
We can get into that.
Yes.
But who is together with their spouse?
In Hollywood, I don't know.
Welcome to LA.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike and I, we had the same comedy manager back in 2005.
Yes.
We both got money stolen, thousands of dollars.
Yes, we did.
I got thousands of dollars. You had money stolen. So
Thousands of dollars,
we
yes,
had
sir.
that bond.
Straight up, he stole from a bunch of clients, and you can't find him now, which is good because
Yeah.
we probably beat his ass. And
That's fair.
So it is. I mean, that's the unfortunate part of this business is that you think people are in your best interest, and they aren't, and they perceive to be your friend. So that's one thing that you learn real quick in this business, that how to decipher who's full of shit and who isn't.
Yeah.
And I didn't know because I started out with him. I don't know how Tarun did.
I started out with him too.
Yeah. And it started out great. And, when I moved here, I stayed in his space and his place. And, he showed me and drove me around. And then next thing I know, the only reason, and this was when I was with my ex, we were going through our taxes and something was not right. And then I called him up. He was like, oh, yeah, this guy named Skippy in Big Bear.
It's always Skippy.
I was like, who the fuck is a Skippy? I was like,
Skippy.
a Skippy. And I was like, okay. And then Big Bear was doing, he has all my receipts. And I was like, well, why don't you have your receipts? I said, well, can you call Skippy? And then that,
Can we get Skippy on the
But that's
phone?
why you don't trust people that too nice. It's fake.
It is. It is. I need a little bit of asshole in you.
No, just authentic.
Yeah.
I'll be authentic.
Be
But the people are
authentic.
like, oh my God, this. I'm like, you're doing some shady shit in your
Yeah.
closet. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, and then I realized that you can mix friends in business, but it has to be the right friend.
Well, he was
And
never my friend.
He was
never.
portrayed to be my friend.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that threw me for a loop.
Mike was having sleepovers, bro.
Yeah, I know. I'm at his place, man. Our sons were playing together and everything.
That's
so
wild.
it was wild. And then when it happened, I was like, "Yo, what's up?" And then he would, and you know when people are wrong, when you're like, "Yo, where's my money?" And then he's like, "Did you steal from me?" Like just a simple question. What the hell are you talking about? He just went.
Oh,
total
same thing. Because I gave him check authorization, and
Yeah.
money was missing. I was like, "This doesn't add up." So I went to his office, and he blew up at me, and I was like, "Are you yelling at me?
You're
You're the one who owes me money." Yeah.
Right. So once you did that,
Classic manipulation.
pretty much. And then thank goodness my wife was she was a lawyer, so I didn't have to pay retainer or anything because I'm sleeping with the lawyer. So my retainer was like, "Yo, what you want?"
Always sleep with your lawyer.
Always sleep with your
Especially if she's Indian.
Indian. Oh my God,
she
amazing!
knew what you're doing.
And then she gave me samosa and roti and everything, and rolled it up, and then
And water.
and water and pani. Yes, everybody. And then I was like, okay, buklagi, I'm good. But yeah, we sued him, and we got a portion of it back, not all of it, just a portion.
And then I'm sure
What
he
about
lost
you?
his license and everything.
oh,
didn't get it
most
back.
definitely. You can't even find him now.
So much I want to talk about. One, you're recurring on the up shows on Netflix, but
Yes, sir.
you've done so much stuff, and I don't even know. We're not going to get to all of this stuff, but I love your comedy.
Thank you, brother.
You started in DC
Yes,
when you were 17 years old. Is that
Yes.
true?
yes, yeah. Actually, it was. I started in New York when I was 17 and moved to DC when I was 19, 20.
Where are you from originally?
I'm New York.
Okay. Nice.
I'm a New Yorker, and I like a lot of people, their influences started, from seeing that one comic that just changed everything for them. Mine was Eddie Murphy,
Yeah.
and I was 8, maybe 9, watching Eddie Murphy Delirious, which shows you the kind of parents my parents were. They didn't give a fuck. I'm watching Eddie Murphy Delirious talk about sucking dick and grabbing this, and he's using the F word for gay people, and I'm just sitting there. I don't know what he's talking about. But it was just the whole command, and he was young, and he was saying what he wanted to say. And of course, his movies are amazing, and he was just so talented. And from there, I was like, I don't know why. It was almost like when you start hitting puberty, and you see a girl, and you're like, I don't know why I'm feeling this, but I think I kind of like her. It was the same thing with comedy. I was like, I don't know why I'm watching, but I kind of like this. I like the feeling that it's giving me. And then as I kept growing into the comedy space, and then I started getting his books, like Eddie Murphy actually had a book about his life, and he started at, which was a very small pamphlet. It wasn't huge. So it was like 15, he started at 15, 16. Wow. So I said, oh, if this worked for Eddie, then I'm going to do the same thing. But he was on Saturday Night Live at
You had like a
night.
leather suit you were
wild.
wearing and watching.
I wanted the leather suit.
Okay.
The clothes I got was the Michael Jackson Thriller jacket, and it was heavy as hell, and I was seeing it was hot, and my friends were like, "What the hell are you wearing?" And I tried to laugh like him, before you do all that. I tried to do all of that, so it was.
Were your parents not home? They just let you watch whatever you want?
They were home. Technically,
Yeah.
I mean, but they would go upstairs and sleep, so they thought
They were
I was
uninvolved.
They were uninvolved. They were there. I mean, they were involved, but back then they didn't really monitor what I was watching. So I'll be, you watch whatever, and the TV was like your babysitter. Yeah. Because both my parents worked, so that was, and then that's why they brought my grandmother in from Haiti to watch me, but she didn't speak English, so she didn't know what the hell she was watching. She just saw me watching TV. I was like, "This is great." Grandma goes, "Oh, okay,
She goes, yeah.
Good black guy. That black guy is funny." I was like, "Yeah, I like him." So she didn't know, so I would just watch him.
Mike, was Chappelle kicking around in Washington when you were?
Dave Chappelle was kicking around, because I was 20. Yeah, he was around, and he was just bubbling under the surface. And at that time, he was with this manager named Barry Katz.
I used to work at the Boston Comedy Club, Barry's
Oh,
Cats.
word?
I was in New York, so all your New York friends like Godfrey, Keith Robinson, all those guys. I know those guys from way back when.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I
Same
think
here.
we've got some parallels. Weird that we only met out here.
I know.
Yeah.
It is strange because we were, I think we traveled somewhat in the same circles in that little grid. So yeah, but Chappelle was around at that time, and you were hearing like little whispers of, "Hey, did you hear this guy named Chappelle?" Blah blah blah. I was like, I don't know who this guy. He was this, skinny kid from. He went to Duke Ellington.
Yeah.
And he said he's brilliant, and hood dudes were like, "Yo, this motherfucker Chappelle, shit."
Yep.
And that's how you know it's good. When they don't even complete the sentence, they just say shit. And just let it trail off. But he was just really, he was ahead of his time.
Yeah.
And now, you see where he is now.
Sure.
Just taking it.
Well, there's some parallels between you and Pritesh and Nihan, even because you're all trained actors. You went to Howard University.
Yes, sir.
And you got recruited to be an actor.
Yes, sir.
There. What I love about your success is that you put in the work. You're not somebody who just came out here, did like an audition course and got on a sitcom. You've actually put in the work. And I know you more from your acting. And then I saw your comedy from the clubs and like, wow, this guy's like 360.
Thank you.
Was that like always part of your plan to have like the acting end, like Eddie Murphy?
Oh, most definitely. It was him, Eddie Murphy, and then I did a deep dive, and then I went from Eddie Murphy to Richard Pryor, because Eddie Murphy loved Richard Pryor, and Richard Pryor was an amazing actor himself. Then I went from Richard Pryor to Robin Williams, and Robin Williams is Robin Williams.
I think he's the best actor out of
Yeah,
all of them.
most definitely. Most definitely.
What was your Harvard experience like? So you went to
Howard.
Oh, got it.
Howard, yeah, Howard.
By the way,
and Harvard was later.
by the way,
Howard, yeah.
Got it.
Howard.
Tomato.
Tomato to my Harvard, Howard.
it's
Same
fine.
shit. Who cares?
but that's a very renowned university, like Kamala Harris, Felicia Rashad,
Yeah.
right?
Debbie
Toni
Allen.
Morrison. Yeah, that's a very renowned.
Yeah, very now. Prestige Chadwick Boseman went
Yeah.
there.
Go ahead, Nihan. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. What you
I know you were on the show Everybody Loves Chris.
Everybody hates Chris.
Hates
Yeah.
Chris.
Yes, ma'am.
7
Everyone
seasons,
hates Chris.
It went on for 5 seasons.
right? Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 5 seasons.
What was your audition process like for that?
It was crazy. At that time, we just had our second kid, and they called me, and I didn't have a chance to get into my wardrobe or prep. I just came in there like the way I'm kind of dressed, not just with a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I had my son. I had to like drop him off at daycare, and I just ran right to the audition. And everybody else was dressed in pimp hats, and they had the garb on, and I'm like, I am not getting this role.
Yeah.
I'm not. I knew my lines, but I just didn't have a chance to really do it. I said, okay, I have a sense of what's going on. So I went in, and the role wasn't really a big role. It was just like an ancillary. It was an outside role. It was like, okay, he'll be in here every now and then. I go in. And I say my line like, "Hey, Chris," it was a food stamps line. The food stamps, like, I was like, he goes, $100 worth of, you want $100 worth of food stamps? Shoot, I'm trying to sell $100,000 worth of food stamps. That was my line, and I said it, and they laughed. I don't know what I did. I don't know. It was just natural.
Yeah.
And then they said, "Oh, thank you very much." And then I was like, "Oh, well, I didn't get that." Then they called me. It was like, "Hey, Mike, congratulations." I'm like, "For what?" And it's like the role of the thing. I was like, "What role?" I didn't even know. I don't remember. I was just because in my own world, because I'm in daddy mode at this point.
Yeah.
They said, "You got the role." I said, "Oh, great." So I go on set, do the same line. They're like, $100 worth of food. I'm trying to.
Wait, that was the only line?
That was the only line.
Oh.
That was my line. And then from that point on,
You're like Steve Urkel. They were like, "This guy's so good, we got to bring him back."
Yeah.
it was kind of
basically
like
a co-star.
Honestly, it was like that. And then the director, he taps me on my shoulders like, "You're gonna be back." And I thought that's Hollywood bullshit. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm like, I've been through this shit before. Okay, yeah. But he was right. Then they brought me back for something else. Then they brought me back for another one. And next thing you know,
Same character?
same character
okay.
over and it went from just a little ancillary, outside character recurring to just a recurring character and being part of the fabric of the show.
I love
Isn't it
that.
awesome? Those stories are so inspiring, but it's also awesome when someone says something in Hollywood and means it. Like it actually comes through. Because you're right. Most of the time, sometimes you're like rolling your eyes,
Yeah, pretty much because you're like what me and Tarun went through, with our manager
Yeah.
and just being in the business, you've been told so many things and so many of that has not transpired. And
Yeah.
so many of that has just been just bullshit.
Yeah.
And you're just like, whatever. So you're already conditioned in your mind, I'm not gonna just listen to it. So when it's like surprise, oh shit, it happened?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh damn. I'm like, you were right, because the director was a great director, but I just met him. I think I worked with him one other time.
Yeah.
And he was nice, but I was like, you just being nice. Just tell me I did a good job and just keep it moving. But
It's so funny how
That's
that's so important. If you just show up and just do your job. I was talking about Pritesh about somebody, and I was like, man, this guy just keeps showing up. They're like, are you friends with Pritesh? I was like, not really. We don't hang out. But I was like, he just keeps showing up. He's always like reposting stuff. I was like, it's so helpful to me. Like, honestly, it's really valuable. But like that kind of stuff, I think Woody Allen said, it's like 99% of it.
Just show up.
Just show up. Nehan kind of shows up.
Wow, and Neon's too busy. Neon's too busy flying to France because, like, why not?
She's like, fix my computer.
I'm not trying to get Neon's life, yo.
Neon, okay.
Every time we go on Neon's Instagram, new car, new something going on.
Why they put you
Such
on
a
blast,
glamour
Neon?
life.
Okay.
She works really hard. By the way, she's not Indian. She's Turkish.
I am Turkish.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this show's a test run.
This
Episode's a test run, bro. We're like,
This is a spec pilot we're doing right now?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to...
You'll be back.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
You'll be back. Yeah, don't worry. You did a good job.
I'll relieve this time. He's telling me, don't you screw me, Pritesh. I'm like, Pritesh, what's going on? Yeah, Mike, a lot of things been going on, but Neon's back. By the way, she's in Egypt right now. Check out her Instagram feed.
Mike, you lost one Gujarati. You're about to lose two, bro.
Hey, brother,
Yeah, man,
it's
all
okay,
right.
but I'm used to it now.
Can we ask you how you met your wife? That's
At a comedy club.
You told me this story and it was very interesting.
At a comedy.
Yeah.
I don't. You've been to Stand Up New York?
Yeah, New York.
In New York,
78.
Upper West Side comedy club. After you do your gig, you're ready to go to the next gig. That's how comedy in New York stand up is. You go from one and you get paid, but most of that money goes to cab and train fare and all of that because most of the time you're running behind and the club's running behind.
Yeah.
So I'm about to leave, but this night I didn't have another gig to go to. I only had one gig. And I'm about to get off and I'm about to just roll out. I'm like, all right, get my money, take the train home because I lived in Long Island, which is, I was like, all right, now I got to prepare myself. And as I'm about to leave, I hear, hey. And I'm like, hey. I'm like, hey. And hey, how you doing? I really like the show. I'm like, oh, thank you. And I'm still, can I buy you a drink? I'm like, huh?
She asked you.
She asked me, can I buy you a drink?
Okay.
She asked me.
All right, Mike.
She goes, can I buy you a drink? Now, I don't drink. That's the truck, but I didn't want to look like no punk. So I was like, oh, yeah, I'll have what you're having. What you having? She's like, rum and Coke? I was like, yeah, I'll have that, rum and Coke. I've never really had rum. So she's just drinking and just pounding it. And I take one sip, like, ugh. She's like, how you like it? Oh, yeah, that's my favorite right here. That's amazing. And then she's drinking. She's already up to like her second rum and Coke. The ice is like melted, so the rum is gone.
Yeah.
Now it's just colored water. But we're talking, and she came with her cousins. And they were there. They were still inside watching the rest of the show. I had already did my set. And we're just talking. And she wrote her number on the back of a check she was supposed to cash.
How much was the check?
I don't know, but I wish I could have cashed that shit because it looked like it was quite a substantial amount. I was like, you can't endorse this because she just said, here's my number. I was like, is this a check? And I was like, can I cash this? But my scamming days were over, so I couldn't do that. But yeah, she gave me her number.
And you didn't ask for it. She gave it to you.
She gave me.
Okay.
Yeah, she gave me a number. I was just like, yo, okay. She's
Chase
like, yeah,
women that are into you. That's my lesson.
Pretty much. She was just into me, and then she was like, well, give me a call.
Yeah.
Whenever you can. I was like, all right. And then I think a day or so later, I was doing another show at Caroline's Comedy Club. And I said, all right. I was like, oh, yeah, that girl. And then I just called her. And the thing about it is like, almost like New York dating was like how Hollywood is with girls. With like, if you call them or you say you're going to do something, a lot of times they don't show up.
Okay.
So I said, hey, I'm doing a show at Caroline's Comedy Club. Come through, see if you want to, we could hang
Which is
afterwards.
probably like the best club in New York at that
was-
time, by
at
the
that
way.
time, it was
So you're
amazing.
not inviting her to some shit.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
inviting her to some bullshit
Yeah.
club. And I said, after that, we'll go to the Comedy Cellar because they have this little...
Another great club, yeah.
yeah, because I think I was doing a spot there.
Yeah.
And what they do is give you free food. And I wasn't making a lot of money. So I was like, oh, this
I'll
is
take the
perfect.
free food.
I'll
Yeah.
take the free food. Plus, I get one free ticket because I could help, give her some food. So I do my show, go to the cellar, do that. Then we go to the Comedy Cellar, and then we have dinner, and she's talking. I'm listening because I've been talking for the whole night, and she's talking and talking and talking and talking. Now I don't know what she's saying because she was wearing something low cut. So I did. Honestly, I was such a I was like, yo, okay, yeah.
I don't know what men think right now.
I'm just being honest. I'm like, all right, yeah, that's good. And she's like, can you believe it? I'm like, yeah, I can't believe them. I mean, you, what? Who said that? What? So, and then from that point on, we just started dating.
Good.
And then, and of course, her family didn't really take kindly to me because I was me. And I was an Indian.
Did you ever have a development deal about you having?
Not a development deal, but we pitched an idea. We
yeah.
pitched an idea. It got all the way to Fox.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great concept.
Thank you. Yeah, it was, yeah.
About your family life.
About my family life and her family life, because my mother, because I lived with her, and my mother's very religious, spiritual, religious. I won't say spiritual, religious, very devout Catholic Christian.
Okay.
And when we were living, she was like, "Okay, you're living in sin." So I had that aspect of it. And
Because she was not Catholic.
she was not, no, because I was just living in sin. And she was not Catholic because she didn't believe in Jesus Christ. She was a Hindu.
Okay.
And then on the Gujarati side,
Yeah.
I was just not Indian. And they already had someone picked out. Matter of fact,
I can just imagine her parents. You brought home this black dude who was a comedian. Jesus, like the parents
Can
must
you
have
imagine
done.
an Indian Gujarati girl?
Indian
with
Gujarati.
him
Oh,
come?
they came over.
Well, tell them how you met them.
I came
She
over.
must have hated her parents. I swear.
This story's hilarious.
She came over. So we're going to her house, and she comes over, and it was like, and she's nervous, of course. She's like, "Oh, hope Mike, I don't know." And then the father opens up the door, and he just goes, "No,
No,
just this simple, no,
I'm finding that.
no."
he doesn't even speak English, but he figured out how to say no.
Oh,
he
he
was
speaks
like,
it, but he's
no.
like, no,
That's
better,
hilarious.
no. And they just no.
I'm gonna cry.
The
It's
whole
so
conversation.
funny.
No. And then she was like, no, because, the whole Indian. And apparently I was going to like mess up the whole Indian community with the whole Indian community. So I'm like, me? I'm going to bring the downfall of the whole Indian population? No. But it was because they were, at that time, it was, of course, arranged marriages. But they thought they were being progressive because like, all right, we'll give you a choice of who you want. So they had people coming to the house, and I was living with her, and a dude actually came there with flowers and be like, "Hey," and I come up there, and I just finished getting out the shower, and I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" And he goes, "Is Artie here?" And then I was like, "Yo, Artie, there's someone here to see you." Like, yeah, your parents said I should come.
You're
That's
supposed to go,
wild.
No, yeah. Well, he was nice. He took
were
us
like-
out to
they were
lunch.
like,
and
he
took
everything.
both of you out?
He took both of us
He
out to
paid
lunch.
both of you
Yeah, he
out?
paid for both of us.
Oh my God, your life's crazy.
Yeah, he took both of us out for lunch. And then her parents were pissed because they thought I was a fad. They thought I was a fad. And they thought they could
You thought you were what?
a fad. No, not that. Not
Yeah, I was
not
like,
G.
yeah.
Like a Three's Company episode where I was gay and they were just trying to.
Oh,
But no, they I don't think they spoke to her. They said, they would go to the extreme and said, we're gonna kill ourselves and
All the Indian stuff.
all the
Indian
typical.
threats.
So dramatic.
We're gonna kill ourselves.
you get reincarnated, so it's okay.
Exactly. Yeah, right. And they said, but call us when you get home, though.
Yeah.
Let him reincarnate to not a black guy.
Not a
and
black
then you
guy.
marry him. Then you marry him.
Then it goes, as long as that would keep it simple.
But did you say it was after you guys had kids that everything kind of...
Well, with the mom, it did. With the father, it was still kind of touch and go. With our first child, the mother, the reason why she loved me, God rest her soul, is because I ate the food. I loved her food.
That's how you went over Indian mom.
I mean, chutney and there was one dish that I really love. Oh my God, I'm forgetting because her aunt did it too. It'll come to me.
The Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yeah, that was not. They would
I made
definitely
this-
not have that.
Were they
Subway
vegetarian?
was a different. Huh?
Were they vegetarian?
Yes, they were all
Okay,
vegetarian.
okay, got
They were
it.
all vegetarian. Yeah, it was not. It was a little bit of paneer, and it was something else.
Butter paneer, garlic.
Mutton paneer, and a potato dish. I forgot what it was called. But I loved their food because her son didn't eat her food. He don't eat. Look, I was like, I know, Mom, and she didn't speak a word of English, but we understood because the thing about it was I would help her clean the kitchen when I was done. And Indian men are Indian men. When they eat, they get up and they go and they sit in a circle and they talk about business or family, whatever. And I'm in the kitchen with the moms and the mommies and and they're like, "What is he doing there?" I'm like,
They're like, he's so helpful.
He's so
and kind,
helpful."
yeah.
And then that right there, me and her just hit it off at that point.
What about you two? Do you guys eat cultural food? Turkish food and stuff?
Do I make it? When I have time, there's like certain dishes I can do that's simple enough that I think
You would cook for a guy?
yeah.
Would you?
That was a pun. Did you see the pun?
Yeah.
She acted like that said something terrible.
It's not something I advertise because I don't want it to be expected.
Okay.
Oh, so wait,
like
how many
I want to do
dates?
it when I want to do it.
How many dates in, or how many years do you have to, before you
Years.
started cooking for somebody?
Like a year, probably.
A year?
She starts with the matcha. She
year?
goes here.
Yeah. He goes, now drink it slow
Eggs.
because this is what you're gonna have for dinner. This is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Just
Yep.
don't drink it too
We're on
fast.
the liquid diet.
But is that
Really
that
good.
Turkish culture too? Like he was saying, where I don't know how it was in your family, where the men kind of get. Are the men helpful? Like, was your dad helpful to your mom?
That's a whole different story. But I think in general, like Middle Eastern men are kind of similar.
Yeah.
For sure. They're just kind of like matcha, like
Yeah.
not matcha, macho.
Matcha, right?
Whatever.
Yep.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, matcha, the matcha drink. You know, matcha like the drink. They like go to the
I haven't
matcha.
had breakfast yet.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of similar in that way, but I think this generation for sure is a bit more like involved in.
Yeah,
And
because the
how
older
you work.
generation, I don't know if they do this in the Turkish culture or Middle Eastern cultures, that they feed the men first. I mean, they feed the kids, men, and then the women eat last. That's how
They want to keep it warm.
they were. Yeah,
That's part of it too, because they want to cook it fresh every time.
I think it depends how like traditional and
Yeah.
like religious
that's
they
how
are.
it was when we went to my ex's house. The men be sitting there, kids and the husbands. Then they would finally eat. Then they would make
It's
themselves.
still kind of like that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know. I thought
That's
it.
a little crazy.
Yeah, my lady at the time, she'd be trying to be like freaking Harriet Tubman of Gujarati. Like, this is wrong. She's like, Susan B. Anthony, why are the men eating? We should all eat. And they're like, what is wrong with her? What is... Better, we're just eating. I don't know.
then I
We've
get
done
it.
this for years and generations. What is... He goes, see, that's what happens when you marry a black guy.
Hey, I just want to make a quick shout out to Dialogue for sponsoring us and giving us this amazing round of drinks. I got the post-workout smoothie. Mike actually has this very colorful thing. I forgot what you got.
I got the smoothie with, what is it, berry, strawberry. I think that's some acai with colostrum in it.
Nihan, what are you drinking?
I just have a matcha. I missed the smoothie memo.
Yeah.
Well, she'll make one for you too because she's an excellent cook.
Actually,
It's delicious. Thank you, Dialogue.
Yeah, hey,
This
thanks,
is amazing.
Dialogue.
Thanks, dog.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. What about you, Pritesh? Do you cook?
You
cook?
Damn.
No, you know what's crazy? I cook the same food, so I'm not.
Like, what are your foods? Where do you go to?
It'll just be like healthy stuff, like
Really?
quinoa and tofu and veggies, like a stir fry, or I don't know, like some egg dish with cottage. It's boring. I just eat the same foods.
God damn. You
So when I
single
eat
still?
out, I can eat whatever I want.
Right. Oh, so that's like a treat when you eat out because then it'll be something different.
Dude, if I have junk at the house, I eat it all, and then I'll just be fat.
Oh, I'm the same way. I can't have it in my house.
I don't have anything bad in my home. It's boring. Like if I get hungry, I'm like, oh, there's cottage cheese and a cucumber. I'm gonna have cottage cheese and cucumber.
Oh.
That's my snack.
Cottage cheese and cucumber. I don't eat
Cottage
that.
cheese, are you
Yeah,
pregnant?
you cut up cucumbers, put in cottage cheese.
That's like a fashion model diet.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
I was like, I
mean,
did that when I lived in New York.
But you know what's crazy? I just made cottage cheese ice cream.
Huh.
It's actually good.
Really?
Mike looks disgusted.
No. I just saw this. Try this. You take a cup of cottage cheese, you put it in the blender.
Okay.
Take a quarter cup of raw honey, put it in there. A teaspoon of peppermint extract. Mix it all together. Take it out, and then you grate like dark chocolate into it. Mix it together and put it in the freezer for 4 hours, and it tastes like ice cream.
The Convo Sutra cooking show. Nice.
Wow.
I'm not a cook. I'm just learning. I need to be better at it. Honestly, I'd like to get better. Especially like I got to keep the family tradition going a little bit and cook some Indian food. You know.
I just date men who cook. It's great.
Yeah, oh, well.
So is that how you want it? In
That's
your
how
dating
you pretty
life?
much, yeah. So she doesn't have to really do anything. She's
Exactly.
like,
Oh damn.
she'll just hand him a drink every now and then. Hey, sweetie, you look kind of tired here.
Dialogue.
Here's your drink.
This dialogue
Here's your
really
matcha
refreshes
for
you.
the day.
Do you cook?
No.
Pause. Yeah. You
I
can
was
say-
down-
You're ordering every day.
I do. I was dabbling though. I was making stuff during the pandemic. I was making like Cajun fish and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. But then I stopped. I just gave up. But I have all the recipes on my board.
Are you the guy? Are you the type of person who doesn't like to cook for yourself? Like if there's someone there, will it cook
No,
for
you know
two?
what? It's just a matter of time for me. I just want to be wasting time watching like eggs scramble.
Hold on. Tarun.
That doesn't take
That doesn't
long,
make,
bro.
you don't watch eggs scrambled. What? What are you just sitting there just watching? Oh my God. I mean, you don't have to sit there, bro. You can
I
do
just
all this
can't.
stuff.
You know, I know, but I just can't.
How do
So-
you cook? What kind of
She
cooking?
knows my time is so like finite. Like it's so regimented, like how I spend my day, and I can't be wasting time, like just
To eat?
to eat.
To make
Food?
Even
food?
eating
That's
is a waste of
kind of what
time.
we
No,
need.
it's not. You need
I
to
hate it.
survive. That makes no sense.
Yeah,
That's
you,
an
you know
expensive
you
habit.
need food to, what's the word? Live. You need that.
I know. I find it all a waste of time.
Really?
Like I'm so pissed off that I have to go to bed sometimes. That's why I'm up like 4 o'clock in the morning. Like it pisses me off that have to go to bed.
He's a pleasure to be around.
I love
by the way.
sleeping.
He's
What
amazing.
were you like a POW or something? Like, what is wrong with you, bro? I mean,
I'm just
you don't
Indian.
like to cook.
No, I'm
and you
Indian
don't
too,
like to
bro.
sleep?
That does not represent Indian people.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something right now, man. You're just a paycheck away from being a meth head. That's what it sounds like. You don't like to sleep. You know, you look like you're watching eggs, like you're cooking crack or something. What is going on, bro?
Cooking meth.
Meth, yes,
yeah.
exactly. I'm sorry, didn't mean to.
I do cook cereal. I guess.
Cereal?
Lord.
I think you're just like,
Oh shit!
you know what is, he's in his like hustle mode and like work mode. So
No, that's
I do
poor people
respect
mode.
I've
it.
always been in my hustle mode.
That's poor people
gotta
move, bro.
eat.
You do have to eat.
No, you
Eat.
gotta eat, bro. Look, man, I'm telling you right now. It's very simple. You make yourself a little meal like for the week. Even they even have prepared meals. You could just they'll give you the instructions of how to warm it up, how to do it, and you just store it. And next thing you know, you got like your row of meals to eat. That's what I do. I just because it gets expensive after a while.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To go out and okay, what do I want here? I'm gonna Uber Eats this and like Pritesh said, you know, you want to eat somewhat healthy.
Thank you.
So
Speaking of, you run half marathons, which is amazing.
yes.
Like you're both runners here.
Look at the bicep, bro.
Yeah.
God damn.
I'm just making
That's
a squeeze so it
ridiculous.
looks good right there.
That's annoying.
Yeah, I know.
I want to get into a special you did.
Yes, sir.
Doing Too Much, this comedy special.
Yeah.
Which is awesome because you actually produced this special on your own.
Yeah.
Which is really just where the business is going. Can you talk about that? Like what was the genesis behind you making this special?
Again, it's one of those things where, as I talked about when I first got into comedy with Eddie Murphy and my other comedy icon greats, I was listening to a show. And also, you know, as comics, we wait for, okay, we'll give you a Netflix special. We'll give you a HBO special. And I was listening to an interview with Joe Coy. And Joe said, you know, he was doing the rooms that are around here in California, Ice House in Pasadena, and the Laugh Factory in Hollywood, and all of that. And he was, you know, starting to headline around the country, which is great, but no specials. He had a fan base. And he said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fund my own special. And a lot of comics have been doing this. And because they just didn't get it, or because you kind of had a fan base entrenched, or you had to have a movie or something of that nature, and Joe didn't have any of that. So Joe went to the Ice House or some other club. Not the Ice House.
Rented a theater, I believe.
Yes.
And he went all out. It was a
He
nice
went
theater.
all
Yeah.
out. Beautiful theater.
This is the one I think he filmed in Hawaii.
I
Right?
forget where it was exactly, but he went all out.
He went all out. I think it was like 100,000, whatever, 50 to 100,000. And he packaged it and he sent it to Netflix. And he said, here it is. And I don't know how many, I think he waited a few months or a year for it to get back. And then they saw it, they loved it, and they said, oh my God, we didn't know you. He goes, yeah, I've been doing this for years. And Joe's been doing it, I think, longer than decades, exactly. So from that point on, that's when the train started rolling. And then he began, and then they gave him his other special. He did some tweaks, and then he got another special. Now he's touring. So from listening to that and other comics, and also looking where the business is going, streaming, and putting stuff out on YouTube, your YouTube channel. I just watched a special, Ali Sadiq had a special. Great, My Two Sons, excellent special. He has a fan base, 4.3 million views.
Wow.
And he had another special called Domino Effect that matched Nikki Glazer's special that was on HBO Max. And his was on YouTube channel. Andrew Schultz did the same thing.
Sure.
They all are doing their own thing, and they all have control of their content. And that's what I wanted. I wanted control of my own stuff. And I didn't want, now, of course, I worked on Netflix, so I said, okay, I'm going to give you first dibs. This is what I did. But I wanted to do something where it was creative enough, where I was in charge and I was able to navigate and put it the way and see it the way I saw it. And that was my impetus, man. Because, you know, we're in a business, man. We have a finite amount of time, and why waste it, you know, waiting.
Yeah.
You know, that's why, you know, maybe I won't cook and eat and all that. Maybe
you waste so much time with eggs, bro.
Look at what
Tarun does, man.
Tarun, I should have stopped cooking and, you know,
gotta learn
going to
from him.
sleep. But no, seriously, I just said, let's do it. And that's what made me do it.
Good for you.
Nihan and I were talking a few days ago about controlling and owning your own IP, which I believe is like the way to go. I mean, people have done that, you know, from Tyler Perry to wherever. My question to you is, do you think it's still relevant today? Because I feel like that was then, and this business is constantly changing. And now I feel like everyone's gunning for a Netflix special where they're just inundated by special. Do you feel like it's still prevalent today, or do you think it's changing?
That's a good question. I believe it's changing.
I feel like Netflix has an ego, to be honest with you. Like they know.
They do, because, I mean, full disclosure, I submitted my stuff to Netflix because I was on the show. I was on the Upshaws for 5 years. So I said, I'm
Easy,
on,
yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
I submitted to you. Hey, guys, I've helped you make money, even though you have billions, but I did contribute what I could, what I did with my part in the show. So I figured it's easy, but I'm still waiting, you know? And that's the frustrating part about it. So I said, okay, so again, it's one of those things in the business when you say, all right, don't think, that's why I said there's no friends in business.
Yep.
You know, I have friends outside of business. And now if you want to do business with me, then fine. But as far as managers or, you know, people in the industry, no. So it has changed in the fact that with your IP where you can distribute it to Amazon or whatever, or have your own YouTube channel, because then there is a satisfaction in knowing that you can draw that fan base in, and instead of you searching them, they'll search you out.
Yeah.
And that's where the power comes in, because that's what's scaring them, is because they're realizing, oh shit, there's other avenues for people to make money, streamers. So that's where the change is coming. And yet to have that N on the side of your special, Netflix or even Max or whatever, that's great. But the fact that you're all out there to the masses, that's where what you want to do and what you want to be. So it's always ever changing, and you have to change with it. At first, I was very resistant. It's like, nah, I'm not doing this. You got to do this and content. But it's the way it's going. And I mean, shit, you have, you know, kids younger than us being multimillionaires, you know, doing a video game and talking.
That's the number one YouTube channel is a guy who plays video games.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah. And it pisses me off. And then I was like, who's his agent?
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit.
He doesn't have one of those
He doesn't
either.
have one of those. I'm like, God, now I got to be a gamer.
I mean, this is a question for all of us that we might age out of Hollywood, because all this young stuff that's like, someone's like, oh, you got to be on Twitch or something. I got to learn a whole new thing now. I got to be on Twitch and blah, blah, blah. Do you ever fear we're just not going to be in tune with what's hot in Hollywood?
Pritesh, what do you think?
I don't know, man. I think people say that, but I do think we're in a craft that's not age limited, acting wise or stand up. I mean, you see people come up at all these ages. That's actually been a good thing. Zarna, she came up, you know, in her 50s. So I think unlike like being an athlete or something where you're really limited by your body, we are in a craft where you can blow up at any age. But to answer your question, there is a technological part to it to expose yourself. So that can be limiting, but I don't think so with the craft. That's what, otherwise if I was like trying to be in the NBA or something, it was a wrap a long time ago, right?
Nihan, what do you think?
I feel like I definitely, in the last year especially, lean more towards, I think there's no way to kind of enter the business at this point, just because there's so many new things, like, you know, the YouTubers and the TikTokers and stuff. And I went to a premiere of the show for Peacock a week or so ago, and literally 2 out of the 4 shows that they were premiering, they were TikTokers who had like 4 million followers, and Peacock was like, I love what you're doing. We're going to make a show around you, and literally built a show around this girl from ground up. Is it good? But like, they're making it.
Yeah.
Stand-up comedy has changed the way they consume content, because I see a lot of these comics now, and even like the audiences, they're kind of being trained on TikTok. So they're used to like seeing like just like these long stories or whatever they're doing now on TikTok. So like the traditional way of stand-up, sometimes I feel like it's getting lost, like, you know, joke writing back in the day. So I do think it's affected the stand-up craft.
Yeah, I don't think the craft you can age out of. Chris Rock said it best. He goes, being a stand-up and act, it's a old person sport because there's experience involved, and there's life lessons that that the younger generation can't really understand because we've lived life. So we can bring something to a role or to a stand-up bit that they can't. The only thing different, like as you said, the technology is always. You always have to. I put pressure on myself. I don't know how you felt when you, like you said, Twitch and whatever, Snapchat or Instagram, and you're like content. So you feel and you see people putting out sketches and this and that. Like maybe I should do that, and that's the only pressure. But then, at the time when, as you said, you saw someone from TikTok get a show. And the show sucks because the person is a TikToker. They're not an actor. They didn't go to school for this. So I think it hurt. I think, and at times it hurts the craft too, because they're just following the number of fans, and they have to understand that not all the time it translates.
It hasn't a lot. It's failed a lot.
It's failed.
They tried, but it's failed so much.
It's failed so much, and we told you, you know. And I've seen, you know, a bunch of people. I remember when Vine was huge. I've seen a bunch of people from Vine try to do stand up, and it just went horribly wrong. Horribly wrong. So I don't think we'll ever age out, man. We only get better we age with fine wine, brother. I mean,
Well, coming from you, that means a lot because you're like the real deal. I see you every week at the club. It's the fucking worst comedy club, the Dime Bar, and you're always like there trying out stuff. And you drive out there, and I'm there as well. And I watch you, and you're always great. You're always amazing, and you're like a great actor. I've seen you since the beginning, so thanks for coming on.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, it was awesome, man.
Yeah.
And you're only here because you married a Gujarati before.
I appreciate
So you
that.
can say that plays a big part. That's the only reason I wanted to do it.
I appreciate the authenticity on that answer. Thank you so much. Thank you. And it's my first time meeting a Turkish woman. Oh. Never met her. I mean, I was like, I just.
She's the only one, actually.
I swear to you, I've flown Turkish Airlines, but I've never met a Turkish woman.
Great airline.
Great airline.
Yeah.
We got to get out of here. Nihan, where can we find you on social media?
Nihan Gur official.
And you can find me at the Pritesh Shah on everything.
And you can find me, the real Mike Estime, on Instagram as well as Facebook. And thank you so much for having me, brother.
Hey, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys. For
He said
Thank
Facebook.
you.
I like it.
I know. I just threw that out there. That's how I aged myself right off. That's the
He said
Facebook.
Facebook. I was like, oh, I don't have that.
I don't have Facebook. Facebook? What's that?
Find him on Vine.
No. And Pinterest.
And you can find me at Tarun Shetty. Guys, please join us on Instagram at the ConvoSutra. If you like this episode, please share this with a friend. Help us spread the word. We really do appreciate it. And we will see you guys next time. Take care. Bye-bye.